So this is a story that comes out of my real life. And my wife and I, we've been married nearly 40 years coming up. So we've had a fair amount of time together. I used to, like most autistics, no, don't, not used to, still do actually, but I was on a kick of eating the same thing for quite a long time. And the kick at the time happened to be roast beef sandwiches on potato bread, which definitely is not, I would say, the health kick. My doctor said I should cut down on the red meat, but hey, they tasted really, really good. And of course, it couldn't be just any potato bread. It had to be a specific brand of potato bread. So my wife and I would go shopping together. That's our norm. We go do it together. And we'd walk into the particular store that we would shop at. And this store was notorious for never putting the same thing in the same place twice. And I would be looking for my bread, and I would be looking at the end of the wrapper and looking for the brand name of the bread that I wanted. And my wife, while I'm looking for brand name, would almost inevitably just point and go, honey, it's right over there. And I'd walk over sheepishly, and of course, she was always right. So after about 1.5 years of this, I finally asked her, how is it that you can just step in the aisle and point right to my bread every single time, long before I can even find where the section is that has my brand? And I read pretty quick. And what she said to me really illuminated the whole fact of the different ways that we think, but we often can't recognize somebody else's way, because if we don't think that way, how are we going to recognize it? And what she said was, if you just look at the end of your wrapper of your bread, it's got a orange circle on the end of the wrapper. And that was her whole secret. She wasn't reading the words, which is where I thought all the information lived. She was just looking for an identifying mark. And my wife is neurodistinct. She has ADHD and is a very highly visual person. So for her, she would just want an identifying mark. She didn't need to know it was XYZ brand. She just needed to know it was the right package. And the orange circle was the right package. So she would just look, she'd see the orange circle, and bam, there it is. She found my bread for me. Very, very different ways to perceive and process the world. I'm perceiving it through words as being where meaning lives. She's perceiving it through identifying factors, in this case, an orange circle. But I did finally win. It wasn't with the bread. We were in the same store, and we were shopping for her favorite coffee. And we walk down through the aisle. We get to the end of the aisle. She comes up to me. I got there a little bit quicker. And she says to me, honey, I think we need to go to a different store because they don't have my coffee here anymore. And I reach up and I grab the box and I hand it to her. So how is it that I was able to find this box of coffee that she couldn't? Well, they rebranded. It no longer had the identifying mark she was looking for. The colors of the box changed. They put pictures where it used to be solid colors, all those kind of things. But the wording did not change. Different font, but it still said the same brand name, and it's also said the exact same variety. So in this case, by looking for the information in the words, I was able to find what she couldn't find because she was looking for an image that she had in her mind, and the package no longer met that image. Well, you know, we went through a lot of our marriage. I was diagnosed at 54. She was diagnosed a few years later. So we went through much of our marriage together, not having a clue that we were perceiving the world very differently. And it would often lead to some pretty major conflicts. But now that we understand, we work and use whoever's strength is the most appropriate one for solving the particular problem. And we know when it's finding things by names where you got to read the text, that's my strength. If it's identifying something that has a unique look, that is her strength.